The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Tonight, the focus turns to the makeup of the new Davis cabinet. 3 days into its second term, who got what? And what are the expectations of each? Familiar faces, new portfolios, and much more. This is Beyond the Headlines, Week in Review Fridays. In fact, it's not much week in review. I'll tell you that everything is brand new tonight. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great having you along this evening. Following a commanding election victory, Prime Minister Philip Davis now faces the task of balancing experience, performance, and political strategy in shaping the new team that will lead the country over the next 5 years. We begin tonight with the country's Attorney General. Linton Ritchie Jr. has the story.
Newly sworn-in Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Wayne Munro revealing that he has removed himself from active cases involving the government following his appointment, dismissing suggestions of any conflict of interest.
I've not been in practice for 4.5 years. But on the issue of any matter involving my law firm, of course, you recuse yourself. It's a simple way that you do it.
Moments after taking the oath of office, Munro also revealing that when the Progressive Liberal Party first returned to office in 2021, he was initially expected to become Attorney General before Prime Minister Philip Davis ultimately assigned him to national security. Munro, who has never hidden the fact that he has successfully sued the government in the past, says that experience now gives him a unique understanding of where government systems can be strengthened. The legal veteran suggesting that his experience on the other side of the courtroom will help him identify gaps in the system and improve government's legal position moving forward.
I hope and I trust that the experiences that I've had will assist me in looking at what is there and making improvements.
Munro also admitting that he, quote, wouldn't have minded returning to national security, but said his legal background makes him well suited for the role of Attorney General. And for those questioning whether he is torn between public service and private practice, Munro made it clear where his priorities now stand.
Someone made a joke and said if I have to be in court, they'd prefer me be representing the government than suing the government. Because if I'm not in government, I'm going to go back to the business that I do, which is civil and constitutional litigation.
Munro will now serve in Parliament as a senator after losing the Freetown constituency to the Free National Movement's Lincoln Deal, making him the only incumbent PLP member of Parliament who failed to retain his seat in the 2026 general election. He also takes over from former Attorney General Ryan Pinder, who served in the post since 2021. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Of course, we all saw there the country's new Attorney General is a noted attorney, Wayne Munro. He was the only cabinet minister to have not been re-elected out of that team that went to elections just on Tuesday. But he was sworn in earlier as the new Attorney General. Many people are saying, you know what, this perhaps is the fit that Wayne Munro needs. Well, we're going to jump in right there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Beyond the Headlines contributors Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Pleasure to be here.
Good evening, Good evening, Bahamas.
You all, of course, we see some new faces, some familiar faces, a bit of reshuffling, some continuing where they left off at just before Tuesday. But you all, let's start with the Attorney General, just announced and, of course, sworn in, officially given his instruments of appointment, Wayne Munro.
You know, Shanique, I think this here, like you said, might be the right fit for the sitting, for the past minister. I think he knows the loopholes, he knows the things that needs to be addressed, being such a seasoned attorney and being, and him just basically fighting for, I would say, for his clients and knowing exactly, I think he, of all people, being the seasoned attorney it is, he knows where all of the loopholes are, what needs to be adjusted. He knows what, from the AG's office, where they need to get strengthened up, because we've seen a lot of cases that have come forward, whereas though, the government of the Bahamas in terms of attorneys have, dropped the ball, and just basically mishandled certain cases, and what needs to be done to clean up that area or that department to make it more efficient, and actually, where taxpayers are actually getting, the bang for their dollar.
Mr. Monroe is a brilliant lawyer. He did a hell of a job as National Security Minister. He's now in the proper place. There wouldn't have been a cabinet, a bit difficult to not have him in the cabinet with his experience and his expertise as someone who knows how to defend the government, how to defend the policies of the government. However, he's not one of the best politicians. But he's done a wonderful job, and I expect him again to step to the plate and do a wonderful job. He also was the leader of the government business in the House. So someone else now will have to take that role.
Well, no doubt
but I'm sure he'll be the government leader in the Senate.
Yes, in the Senate.
Yeah, but I think the approach that the minister had when he was head of national security, it was the tone in which people are looking for more, that authority, more I would say someone that's strong.
You mean someone who's more aggressive in their
aggressive,
speech?
yes.
Well, we all know his presentation, the way he speaks, but I think he made it for that
Soft spoken.
Right.
Yes.
So he made it for that with might. Now maybe his tone is better suited for Attorney General, but no doubt the work will be just as impressive, because as you mentioned, he knows where all the loopholes are.
And I think, and this is why I think it is the fit for him. And I think, I'm not saying that he did an awful job, but I think people just looking for more, being more aggressive, attacking what the issues that the country is facing in a more stern, aggressive way. His tone sometimes is very, it's kind of just mellow.
Mind you, but he did get the job done.
Yeah.
No, he did.
Quiet, but he got it done.
No, he did, because
crime was down.
we are very happy,
all
and we
categories,
want to keep
murder
it that
was
way.
down.
Yes, serious crime is down,
But that's
and
the
so
type
we're happy about that.
That's the temperament, you see.
And I'll tell you this too, you need a more measured person. Now, mind you, Michael, I wouldn't mind seeing almost, not a renegade, but somebody with more in their tone when speaking to matters of national security. Well, I'll tell you know what. Let me not say what I've been hearing, because I may be so off, and I don't want to jump ahead of the Prime Minister and his announcement. So again, we see that Wayne Monroe, now Minister of the Attorney General rather, and responsible for legal affairs in the country. No doubt, again, also Michael and Leslie, he probably will also, the whole DPP, all the rest of that will be firmed up further with the knowledge that he has, that he can bring to it. Well, gentlemen,
I'll tell you. Great contribution to make to the country.
I agree. Now, listen, you all, this one. Well, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, also given his instruments of appointment today, sworn in, of course, as Deputy Prime Minister. But get this, you all, and I didn't see this one coming. None of us did, really, I don't think. So Chester Cooper is now Minister of Education, Science and Technology. Now, before we all jump in, I was very surprised to learn this. Cooper is a former teacher. Cooper has degrees from Harvard and I heard Stanford. He spoke about what he will bring to the Ministry of Education.
I've had a lot of conversation during the campaign about owning the Bahamas, the ownership era, the era of empowerment. We have to now put this in the minds of all of our children at all ages, primary, junior, high, and beyond. The reality is that if we are going to succeed in economic independence, the next level for our country, we must begin here. This is one of the things I will hope to focus on. I look forward, though, to working with the teachers and education professionals who have given a lot of sacrifices over the years. I look forward to having my first briefing at the Ministry of Education. This is going to be a new challenge.
Now, you all, Leslie and Michael, I would say Chester Cooper is one of those ministers in the former term who really took on tourism and became tourism. But I'll tell you, the real, and Leslie, you would know this very well as a former cabinet minister, the real, I guess, test is being able to assume different roles and portfolios when at the Prime Minister's, at his pleasure.
Yeah. Shariq, the interesting part, if anyone who had followed Chester during the campaign, he spoke a lot about shaping the future of the Bahamas. And I think this is one way in which I think he might have thought that, he can actually help to take education from where it's at now, and when you look at education and technology, and you look at AI and everything that's happening and things are changing so quickly, I think the education does need someone who understands the technology. That's as quick as things are advancing with AI. And for us not to be left on the back burner and being on the cutting edge, you need someone that understands what AI is, what it's capable of doing, and we can't fight against it. At some point, AI needs to be, I guess, integrated into the school system in order for you to make sure that people who are in the system aren't being fooled by what students are presenting. At the end of the day, you might be hailing somebody, but I would say, telling someone, oh, you're doing such a fantastic job, the whole time, it's all AI driven. And AI will become the future. But we have to figure out how do we integrate it and how do we make sure that our students are using it in the correct manner, where they're using it efficiently, but at the same time understanding what they're asking AI for to do on their behalf, because that's also a big part of AI.
The prompts, yeah.
How do you talk to it? How do you request it? And you get people just copy and paste AI and just don't understand what they're actually putting out. And I think that's the big thing in terms of integrating into the school system, making sure that they know exactly what they're presenting when they're doing it.
Minister Cooper did a hell of a job as Minister of Tourism. Figures are up dramatically since he took over. I spoke to him yesterday evening and he said, Leslie, I was tired of being there and I think I did enough. I went as far as I wanted to go and he needed a new challenge. I think this is the right fit for him now. As a Family Island boy growing up, he knows some of the defects in the system, especially the schools in the Family Island. Every year they're late with opening and everything else. I think to make a good fit and to make a contribution. I think men like himself now are looking at legacy now. What could I do to make a stand for myself, to let the people know that I was there, that I made a contribution for and on their behalf. I think he's going to do a wonderful job in education and technology.
Yeah, I'm going to hear what the youth panel have to say on that appointment, because again, as you mentioned, AI is integral. Like it is. You can't miss it. You can't get around it anymore. It is what it is. It's in everyday life. It's all over the place. Some people overuse it, misuse it, and so certainly I want to hear what they have to say about it. So you all, no surprise, this one. Michael Alcides is now the Minister of Finance. That's right. He is a financial analyst. He is a former Minister of State for Finance, and so his experience, of course, is well known throughout the country. Here's some of what he had to say today.
And so I'm very humbled by this appointment. I know it carries a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility. Everything rises and falls on sound finances of the country. And I know that the Bahamian people demand integrity, transparency, and accountability. And that is the commitment that I bring to this office. Hard work every day to build on some of the successes that we've had already. So I'm just thankful and grateful and humbled by this appointment.
And so you all heard Alcides, I mean, staying the course really, because this is something that we've known him for. I mean, even since the Christie era, Alcides has been in finance. And so this almost is almost expected, Michael.
It's a given.
The fortunate part for the current Prime Minister, he has a very deep bench. He has a huge pool of talent to choose from. He has seasoned politicians, seasoned ministers who've been in these areas before, and who knows, they're not walking in blindly. They know exactly what the challenges are. They know what they need to attack right away. On day one, they can go in there and start doing what needs to be done. I think that's the key thing, and it's going to be at the benefit, of the current administration.
Mike is one of the most brilliant financial minds in the country. And Mike has been at it for a long time. When we won in 2002, he was the junior minister, Ministry of Finance, People tend to forget that. And in 2012, he was there with us. He's a brilliant person. And the Prime Minister has absolute faith in his judgment. He's going to do a wonderful job pouring on behalf of the people of our country.
People love working with him.
Easy to get along.
You hear people,
Very easy.
in past
Always
ministries.
Always helpful.
People, so I think
Always
that's
staff loves him,
That goes a long way as well.
Yes.
Because the Minister of Finance has to be tough. But he's been able to balance it though.
Well, the ministers could be begging for more money every week.
And I hope we can look at some of the policies that are and say, hey, maybe we need to push back or
exactly.
cut back on certain things, because at the end of the day, that particular ministry can make the lives of the Bahamian people a whole lot much better.
Yeah.
If you implement the right policies and change certain things, I think that it's nothing is perfect, but there's some things that can be fixed.
Yeah, we
But
imagine.
he's going to step to the plate and get it done.
Yeah,
I assure you that.
We anticipate it. I tell you, this nation needs it. This nation overwhelmingly said,
Yeah.
we will re-elect you and give you a second term.
Yep.
Now let's be about the business of the people.
Congratulations, Mike.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what the other ministers, and there's more, I understand, going to be rolled out this
10
weekend.
o'clock in the morning.
Well, very good. But here's what happened later today. Other ministers who were presented their instruments of appointment. This happened as well this morning. So Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell, no surprise there. Fred has been, I guess, I don't know, the consummate diplomat, we would want to say.
As good as Paul Adley. They're in the same category.
Oh, Paul Adley has been Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and so Fred Mitchell is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, reappointed today. Now, get this, you all. This, of course, happened this afternoon. Clay Sweeting, Minister of Works. Jomo Campbell, Minister of Agriculture.
Good fit.
Glenys Hannah Martin, Minister of Tourism. You all, this is that.
Congratulations,
Glenys. We will see how this works out. Jo Beth Colby Davis, Minister of, here it is, I have it right here, Minister of Energy, Utilities, and Aviation.
Yes.
Again, she has a heavy portfolio.
Good fit for
Energy
her.
by itself is a heavy lift, but this is what Jo Beth has. And
She had to save it energy because of what is going on in the country today.
I wanted to ask you all this.
It was vital that you keep someone with knowledge and
but who was
gravitas to get it done, and she will get it done.
Let's discuss it further.
She will get it done.
Because there's Clay Sweeting. Well, let me just roll the rest out, and then we'll talk about the fact that who needed to continue and stay where they were, and then maybe the new appointments. But it's not new after this, because Ginger Monksy, Minister of Grand Bahama, Mario Boleg, yes. Youth, Sports and Culture. Jomo Campbell, as I said, Agriculture. Zane Lightbourne, we are understanding environment. Now we're hearing Miles Laroda may get an appointment. I want to hold off on that for a moment until it's officially announced. But if he does, I tell you, I understand Miles don't play on these streets, If indeed he does get that.
I keep telling you all, Miles is a regular brother. And you got to realize what a regular brother is.
You may get what you're asking for.
What he is.
If what we think, what we're thinking, if it does happen, it's going to be interesting. And reason why I say that, because, it's good to know that you can possibly have a minister who is not, I would say,
exactly what you want.
Exactly.
You want a tough guy.
No, but when I say, but it's not been a part of the system before. Whether it be, an ex, this or whatever it may be, somebody who is new, someone who is fresh, at the same time stern, who can go in there with ideas and not be, I guess, stereotyping individuals, or this is, go in there and really look at it from a holistic view.
How to get it done?
What it is, how do we clean it up, first of all, because we know that the system needs to be cleaned up, and then how do we move forward and all holding hands and, do what needs to be done.
You have the national security and immigration. They're not fitting together.
No, but Leslie, just hold back. Remember, I did not announce it.
But it depends on which, either which way.
Yeah.
Both need
a stern,
strong,
yes.
Both of them
and
leadership.
I'm understanding that people underestimate him when they see him, because he is exactly that guy.
Yeah, mine's easy.
But let's just talk about Clay Sweeting continuing. Well, first, Darvel and health. I think that's important. I think
and continuity.
Yes, it has to continue based on exactly what's already in motion. So you all, what do we think about Darvel staying in health?
Talking about Grand Bahama earlier, when it's good that what has happened, because there's no reason for anyone, I'm not talking about any of these ministers who they have an opportunity to carry on the work that they started.
Yep.
And within this 5 years, if you can't get it done,
you're in trouble.
You will be in a lot of trouble. The people will then say, you can't say the other one, no, you were the other one.
No.
Now is your time to carry your work on and get it done in 5 years, and not have any excuses as to why it was not done.
And I believe that is the reason why most Bahamians choose to re-elect Philip Brave Davis and his team. They didn't want to just stop like the FNM was going to do, stop every damn thing.
And that's
And
bad.
start
That's-
from-
it's
and they
bad.
always do
And,
it.
You know, it's bad for
Yeah,
moving
not
a
as
country,
continuity.
country forward.
Moving our country
Yeah.
forward.
Yes.
And so, of course, we have
And that's why they were rejected.
Again, Clay Speeding and Works. Again, somebody who needed
he
to stay
he
put.
did a ton of initiatives,
Hell of a job.
initiatives going on, and for him to complete that being the bridge, all of the airports that has been started,
All the shanty
that
towns.
that is very, very
Don't forget
vital
the shanty towns.
for all of our islands. I mean, even Eleuthera, in terms of fixing that bridge, all these things are vital to our economy
Yes.
in terms of driving more tourists or just
Yeah,
air
yeah.
traffic to these islands. And I
Absolutely.
think that's key. in
Making
terms of
people
keeping
safer
it-
too.
Absolutely. Now, Keith Bell Housing. He is also continuing in that
Good man.
as far as we
Did a
understand.
wonderful job.
Joe Beth
Needs to
Colby Davis,
continue.
we know about energy, we know about the
Yeah.
challenges, even though there's a lot going on, a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of things already happening. It's still a lot more to get done. So she is well, I think she's well placed to remain there.
Well placed.
I am
Well
surprised
placed.
with the housing because
None better.
you listen to when you listen to Sabas and he spoke so much
did,
about
he
housing,
did.
you would have thought that him coming from a development background. Maybe he's going to assist in the shadows, but I'm pretty sure, we said it before that, the technology that I think he is able to bring to the table.
I'm sure he'll have a ministry.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure
I'm
he
sure
he
you've
might
got-
be able to guide
tomorrow
the
he
government
will
and
have a
help
ministry.
and
Yeah,
assist.
we will see because
Yeah, he will
again
have a ministry.
there are others and Sabas Bastian his name might just be right up there.
Yeah, he will have a
more than
ministry.
likely. There are others too. We sworn in tomorrow. So listen, of course, Ginger Moxie, the Ministry of Grand Bahama, Mario Boleg, Youth Sports
Youth
Culture,
Sports.
Jomo Agriculture.
Youth
He was
Sports.
Youth Sports and
You
no
don't have
culture?
culture anymore, no.
Okay. Well, we'll see who gets culture because that obviously is a new ministry that's going to be tacked on to somewhere and someone else.
Yeah.
Jomo Agriculture was beginning to make inroads there, and Zane Lightborn Environment.
man.
Gentlemen, your thoughts about what we know so far with these cabinet posts?
I can say one thing, I'll go back to Grand Bahama. Ginger Moxie with the portfolio of Grand Bahama, you better come out the gates. I don't
Flying.
swinging, flying.
Flying.
I mean, firing on all
Water
cylinders.
you can put a lot of
'Cause,
pressure on it.
Leslie said, can't be ungrateful.
No.
Those people have suffered for too long. They got all the reason in the world to be upset or mad with anybody
right, but-
because people continue to fail them. And
Now
not
they got Hilton just starting.
but you have a government that's
But it's
going.
like-
But you have a government that now is going to be. They have another 5 years. You get another 5 years to
I
get it
think
done.
Michael noticed though, we're not hearing and seeing the demonstrations and the complaints coming from Grand Bahama anymore as they were several months back.
'Cause they got hope.
That's because
Yeah, there's hope now.
It's a lot.
gentlemen.
And help is on the way.
No, they even listen. The cab drivers are now working and have tourists in their cabs. The tour companies are now having tours. The restaurants are having business. The straw vendors are now selling their wares. Grand Bahama's turned a corner.
So they're
Now
getting
they
busy.
don't just need to turn the corner. That corner needs to be
Yeah,
firmly
yeah.
established and have a good path.
That
and road
airport,
ahead.
that hotel
Yes.
needs. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the
Two
key to
ingredients.
Grand Bahama.
Got to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so far they've picked a wonderful cabinet. The Prime Minister's given a lot of young people great responsibility to move this country forward. And I suppose he would just be the titular head of state, not taking a portfolio himself, but surrounding himself with good men and women who can get the job. He'll be like the watchman.
Yeah.
If you got a problem, like we always call him the go-to guy, well, he'll now be the go-to guy for all of them. If you got a problem, you go see Brave.
But I tell people, in this day and age with AI, you need people who understand where technology is going, and we need to make sure that whoever we put in these ministries, they understand where the technology is going and where do we
But
put
you need
our
the PS of
ministries.
those to be up to date state
So,
too.
but it goes back to the point. If we got to get rid of some old
Yeah,
fellas,
yeah.
or we need their knowledge.
They
But
gotta-
at the
yeah.
same time, we need to make our ministries more efficient.
Yep.
We need to get up to speed in terms of technology, and
You
we
have
need
to.
to get out of the old days, or I call it the caveman
caveman days.
era.
Analog
Yeah, they
era.
go on now.
And move our ministries forward in order for people need to learn, need to get with it. We can't
Yeah.
keep shoving it away because guess what? Technology getting with AI now is
I
gonna-
try and go at higher on.
Leslie, you're right. You're right there, Leslie. What you mean? You right here, Leslie. Let's learn and catch up. Listen, I thank you so much, Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest. I know you're all going to stick around for the next segment because guess what? I have a panel, the panel from Grand Bahama. They are coming up next after the break. I know you're both going to stay put, so we're going to hear them and hear from them right after the break. Stay close.
Hey, Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel, and I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Luckily, it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! Help! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, presses you, and entertains you 24/7.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
My name is Charles Wesley Gould. My organic farm is Nice Layers Organic Farm. I have 230 birds up here. I give them fresh water, pumpkin, lettuce, cabbages, all the vegetables. Anything what I eat, they eat. Right now we sell the eggs for $7 a dozen from Monday to Friday. On Saturdays, you can get 4 dozen eggs for $21. I'll be located on Jamaica Road, the western side, Silverstone Primary School.
5 cars, catch the keys, don't blink, take these.
Island Luck is giving away 5 brand new cars. Earn 10 reward points for a chance to enter and win. Enter weekly from Monday 12 a.m. to Sunday 2 p.m. Winners are announced Sundays at 3 p.m. on 103.5 The Beat and Island Luck Socials. 5 cars, 5 weeks. The more you play, the better your chances. Visit islandluck.com for more information. Catch the keys only at Island Luck. Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you all tuned in this Friday evening. We are shifting now to Grand Bahama and the Grand Bahama vote. What did it reveal? What does it say? Grand Bahama has long been the heartbeat of the Free National Movement, and that's not really changed as the Free National Movement won 3 of the 5 seats. However, the way voters showed up, the interest, the energy, and also sort of a lot of how they voted, did it show a change, a shift? We're going to get into it this evening with my panel from Grand Bahama. Good evening and welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Leland Lang and Kurt Neely. Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Great to have you both here.
Good evening, Shanique. How are you?
Wonderful. Good to see you both. Let's just jump right in. First of all, gentlemen, any surprises from the Grand Bahama vote and what now is 3 for the Free National Movement, 3 out of the 5 seats?
I wouldn't say surprises. I would say disappointment because, you know, we, from time, would always say Grand Bahama is F&M country. So if there were to be surprises, it would have been for us to increase the total amount of votes that we have. I mean, constituencies that we have. But I will say, if you check the numbers, there was an increase in support and a decrease in support for the F&M.
So you're saying,
increase in support for the PLPs.
Kurt, you're saying while the numbers and the overall vote showed the Free National Movement maintained its presence and its strength in Grand Bahama in that it won 3 of the 5 seats, you're saying, though, that the actual count of votes in polling division showed a decrease in support for the F&M?
Absolutely. You if you look at the numbers, you'll see where there are probably 1 or 2 polling divisions throughout the island where, in fact, the COI won.
In Grand Bahama?
While I remember, Leland, congratulations on you guys' narrow victory over the COI.
In which constituency are you talking about, Kurt? Go ahead, Leland. Jump in, because
Yeah, I was just gonna
Kurt
say,
trying
I
to
disagree.
minimize what it is.
Yeah, I disagree with what Kirk is saying, especially here in East Grand Bahama. This is the first time that since Kwesi has been running, where we've won all the polling divisions west of the bridge. No other PRP candidates has lost this amount of polling division that's come.
You I would say it's the first time that the PRP won all of the
Yeah, you gotta let me
Wait, let him.
east of the bridge.
Y'all have to. I need y'all both to speak very clearly because believe me, the rest of us outside of Grand Bahama don't understand nothing y'all talking about. So slow down a little bit and let us hear how the PLP gained and how the FNM lost. But go ahead, Leland. Leland, finish up.
Good evening again, Bahamas. One thing that remains the same is that Grand Bahama stayed FNM country in the return of the 3 seats that we had. The leader especially, I mean, we saw the blow-up that he did there, which was no surprise to us here in the FNM or Grand Bahamians. Grand Bahama don't feel what the rest of the Family Islands or Nassau might have feel. And again, to Kirk's point about narrowing down the votes, the only place or the only area that we might have seen that would have been Central. And I don't think it's because more people voted PLP. It's just that we had, a COI running, we had an independents running. But at the end of the day, it was a win. As it relates to East, everything East, there's only 3 polling divisions that is east of the bridge. And the remaining polling divisions are west of the bridge. And normally 1 or 2 of those, the PLP would normally win, but we would still edge them out. But this time around, Kwesi was able to increase his number and margin. In 2021, I think he won by some 207 votes. And as we see this time, he won by almost 600 votes this time. So
what do you say about that?
Increase.
What do you say about that, Kurt? He's saying in East Grand Bahama, for example, Kwesi actually gained.
See, he would like for us to think that, and I wouldn't fight the numbers. But the fact that we would have won in areas like High Rock proper, which we've never done, shows that the interest in that particular area, which is a stronghold for the FNM, people thought about the progress and thought about the things that actually happened for them during this first 4.5 years. Now, I would, and I heard him just now say that Freeport didn't feel what the rest of the country felt. Shanique, and I'm so disappointed when they say that because what they try to do is ignore simple facts about the things that the PLP did in Grand Bahama and, because everyone else voted progress, will continue.
Can you list 5?
But one of the things that disappointed me, listen, you think about it, it's not that they didn't do things in Freeport, it was the fact that who did it wasn't who they wanted to do it. And it's like your house is burning down, and because you don't like your neighbor and he bring the water, you say, well, I don't want the water, let my house continue to burn down. And that's the kind of attitude
don't beat around the bush, Kurt. What did the PLP do?
What
did the PLP do that they've been re-elected now to continue and make up? And what did the PLP do in Grand Bahama?
So say that again, Shanique?
Grand Bahama, Freeport, what did the PLP do that they now will begin building on and delivering?
Well, I mean, the simple fact that the continuation of the, I don't want to say dismantling, but the continuation of putting the pressure on the port and minimizing their ability to stop things in Grand Bahama. That's one. Secondly, the continuation of the takeover of the electricity company. And then you have the Royal Caribbean project, and you have the MSC project, and you have the Hilton project in Lucayo. So there are lots of things you have the hospital that's going to continue. And these are things, some of these things were going on, but they ignored it. Like I said, they would continue to.
Kurt, I'll tell you this. I don't know if the people ignored it so much as the fact that yes, the PLP may have gained, but the facts are The FNM won 3 of the 5 seats. The PLP won 2, and they may have picked up. They may have picked up support. They may have picked up support in certain areas and polling divisions. Excellent. But wait, Kurt. The PLP now has a mandate, Kurt, to go and win over more people in Grand Bahama because they've been re-elected. That's the big story right there. I want to ask you guys this. I want to ask you guys this. While the energy was ripe in Grand Bahama, we saw that. We saw the rallies. We saw the turnout, Kurt, for the PLP. Yes, the progress message was strong and very attractive. However, voter turnout was very low. What is it going to take to engage on an even more meaningful way, you think, of Grand Bahamians, the youth vote, the first-time voter, and those who are seasoned voters, you think?
Well, Shanique, let me just say this. 31 of 32 incumbents was returned.
33, Kurt. Kurt, 33.
31 of 33?
33.
I'm saying 31 of 32 incumbents.
Yeah, he's talking about incumbents.
Oh, incumbents, yes, okay.
This is an overwhelming support
yes.
for the job that the Prime Minister and his team did.
Yes, yes.
When we talk about increasing numbers in Grand Bahama, they had a person like Kingsley Smith in West End. They had him to be beaten. The FNM thought they would beat him. He won by almost 800 votes. It's an increase of almost 400 votes from the general election in 21.
Okay, very good. Now, Kurt.
Hold on.
You know something? Kurt and Leland. Leland and Kurt. I like the two. Listen, y'all gonna be regulars. I could see that because I love the fact that you all just could go at it and really debate. I want to now look at future. The real story. Wait. The real story though is the PLP won, and you made a great point. Obviously, overwhelmingly, the Bahamian people, wherever they are, said, you know what? I believe in this message you all are saying, and I believe you all can take this nation further in this season. I'm asking you then. What are the expectations of a re-elected Davis administration?
I give you the floor.
Of a re-elected Davis administration in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Leland, you go first.
Yes. So if you look at what Kirk mentioned, right? He mentioned the power company, which came days before the election. He mentioned, I didn't hear him mention the airport. I didn't hear him mention the hotel. I didn't hear him mention the hot button topics in Grand Bahama. And this is why they will continue to lose support in Grand Bahama. You can't tell me that you were the government for 5 years or 4.5 years because it was an early election. And the success or the progress that you're going to build on are things that you did in the last year of your term.
Listen,
man. That's failure.
Listen, Shanique, you hear him? This is the man, their former party, their leader, and the one that's there now, they let the Hutchinson offload a $200 million problem on the backs of the Bahamian people for $1, and then try to blame the PLP government for not being able to correct it right away. But the point is, y'all made the dumb decision.
Yeah, but
the same thing with
guys, even though this is your segment, Kurt and Leland, even though this is your segment, Michael and Leslie stayed behind to hear what you all have to say. Leslie, I know you wanted to jump in very quickly on Grand Bahama, just to add to these guys.
It amazes me that the good people of Grand Bahama don't appreciate what Philip Brave Davis did with regard to the Port Authority. That's going to help you all so much in the future. You know, to give you all a break, to take that elephant off your back with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and you all make it look like it's so insignificant. And it's the most significant thing that happened to the Port Authority since 1956.
If I can respond to you, Mr. Miller, I have nothing but respect for you as the Port King. But here's the issue that the PLP continues to face in Grand Bahama. So you're telling me, you know, the fight now with the port. The issue that I've mentioned on this show before is transparency. If you give us the details, there's nothing we can say, well, we don't know.
But you have the details for the deal.
Without the details, it's just hearsay. And so lay on the tables.
The details was given in the town meeting.
It's going to save you approximately 40% on your electricity bill. I said, the purchase of the Grand Bahama Power Company is going to save you all around 40% on your light bill. That's insufficient too?
Yeah, but Leslie.
Why are you so ungrateful, man?
No, notice I didn't speak to the power company because that didn't happen.
But you want to talk about the Port Authority because y'all hold water for them.
Y'all ungrateful, boy.
Leland, listen, listen to me. Leland and Kurt, listen, stick a pin right there. I tell you guys, welcome to Beyond the Headlines. I love the fact that you both are passionate and you both obviously are quite capable of presenting your views. I will continue to hear, and the nation will hear those views. But once again, the official vote in Grand Bahama is this. The Free National Movement, 3 seats. The Progressive Liberal Party, 2 seats. Many people are being sworn in today as cabinet ministers. We all saw Leland and Kurt that Ginger Moxie will remain as Minister of Grand Bahama. And I no doubt many of those things you mentioned, Leland, she will tackle right out the gate after she receives her instrument of appointment. Or instruments of appointment. I thank you all so much, Leland and Kirk. Thank you all so much, gentlemen. Thanks for hanging with me too throughout this election season. I look forward to bringing you on some more and having your voices heard for Grand Bahama. Thank you very much. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods, taste the difference.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in. This Friday, of course, I tell you, Fridays we like to mix it up and have a nice, good show for you headed into the weekend. And so let's get right into it. The youth panel is here. Tafari Gibson and Aaron Jones. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you. You all know what was being said, that the youth, number one, are more engaged than they've ever been, which facts. We saw it play out on social media, we saw it play out at the rallies, we saw all of that. That the youth vote possibly would have determined the outcome of the election. Gentlemen, did it in the fact that voter turnout overall was still, much lower than expected, given the fact that it was the highest amount of people registered in the history of this nation. What do you think happened, or did the youth really show up in goodly numbers?
Shanique, I'll say this. I think, like you said, young persons are much more interested in affairs of the country, in the policies and the areas of governance. This time, based on the statistics that I've seen, there was a large population of young people that registered. Now, there was a bit of a lull between the registration process and the actual voting process because of some technical issues, and I'm not sure, but maybe just their will to actually go and vote. But if we take a look at the registration numbers, we see a high percentage of young people. And then we could obviously see as well that they've been very, very active on social media. They are in every comment section. They're commenting on issues. They're commenting on people, on candidates, on now sitting MPs. And it's good to see that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Shanique, the registration was high. The young people registered, but the turnout was low. And I said to Aaron when we had a private conversation that silence speaks loud. And there had to be a reason that. Now, the young people showed up, they attended the rallies, but some didn't vote. Why? I don't know, but the registration was high, and the large number of young people who are present on social media was very surprising.
They drove, and first of all, I was very happy to see the politicians, the candidates at that time, now elected officials, hugely and highly engaged. And did that make you all sort of feel like you know them better? Did you like what you saw? Did you like the fact that you even saw the Prime Minister dancing, who has been now re-elected for a second term? You saw so many people showing different sides of themselves. Was that part of this engagement?
Shanique, I said this maybe a million times now. I said from last year before election, heat came up. Politicians, get active on social media. Include young people more in not only a decision-making, but allow them to feel your social media presence on social media platforms. I think those that strategically and effectively used those communication methods are now in House of Assembly. Young people are feeling them, young people are gravitating towards them, and now it's more of a personal connection. I had several conversations with sitting MPs now who are re-elected that they should up their game on social media. And I think a few of them did, a few of them didn't do it, but we see the results of what happened because of that.
Mm-hmm. Some had it very easy with their message and to be reelected, and others, of course, who had a bit of a struggle to be reelected. Were you all surprised at all? You all were still engaged. Many of you still turned up and voted. Were you surprised at the outcome? Or you said, you know what, this is about exactly how we saw it, what we felt, how we called it?
Shanique, I wasn't surprised at the outcome, honestly. Honestly, when we looked at the internet, when we looked at the direction of some stuff, we could have seen where this was heading, right? But Shanique, yet again, I have to say, I was so surprised by the amount of young people that were, I literally call them ambassadors for these people. These young people were ambassadors for these for the parties. So I wasn't surprised at all where it was going. But I'm happy that the young people voted and didn't vote for party, but voted their conscience. And that's the main thing that I think people should do. Don't vote for party, but vote for people and vote your conscience. And I think that's what they did.
Shanique, even furthermore, I'll say this. I said to many of my colleagues in the policy arena that we live in a social media age, right? Which means businesses, governments, members of parliaments that are unable to effectively manage, use, and communicate via social media platforms will not be successful. Realistically, we've seen on TikTok how several different political organizations have been catapulted when it comes to social media. Certain parties were trends on social media, songs and dances and shirts, and it was trending to be a part of that. And so that's something we have to continue to put forward. Social media is where young people are.
Don't just drop it now that you've been re-elected or the election is over. No. Just really step up and put your foot to the metal now and go.
Right.
Let's not make this something where you use the young people, then you throw them away after you when you see. That's not the type of stuff we're into right now.
Shanique, I'll say this as well. There's been a trend in our time in government, where MPs would come in for a 4-year period, and in that last year rush to hurry up, do things, and be seen, and be present, and be vocal. I challenge, as a young man, I challenge every sitting MP, every incoming MP, to break that status quo and defeat that trend. All right, you have a 5-year window now. Young people are looking so seriously at you to the point where it's not even funny anymore. Yeah. All right, we understand when you're not talking actual facts. We understand broken promises. We understand false and just hopeful promises, and we expect to see you actually put works to what you say you're going to do.
But the thing is, we break the cycle of changing governments, not break the cycle of lying.
Yeah.
Let's break the cycle of not coming out with the promises, not fulfilling our promises. Let's break that cycle. We done break one, let's break the next one. We need to fulfill these promises, just how we promised these people all this stuff. Now we need to come forward and fulfill these promises.
Now let's talk about, you both are now university students, but let's talk about the new Minister of Education. You sat through the other parts of the show this evening, and you heard us talk about the cabinet appointments. And what I like about you both are engaged anyway, so you've attended some of these swearing-in ceremonies earlier today, so that's pretty awesome. You've formed opinions. Let's talk about the shift for Chester Cooper from tourism to education. Now, we've heard his background, we heard exactly what he brings to the table. What's the anticipation there?
Shanique, I'll say this, I'm very chronically online. And so I was reading through Facebook comments, and I saw some people saying things like, oh, this man don't know education, he never taught a day in his life. But I'll have you know, having done some research on that, Chester Cooper has credentials from Harvard University. Chester Cooper was also an educator some years ago in his tenure with education. I think what the administration is doing is very strategic placements. The Ministry of Education is a ministry and an organization that has to have very strategic and targeted movements. We've honestly seen what he's done in the Ministry of Tourism. He has certainly catapulted that from where it was years ago, and he's certainly put us on the map, on the global stage. And with those same strategic movements and those targeted events, he should be able to do that same thing in the Ministry of Education, and I wish him all the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shanique, I think it is cultural that we are so used to someone being in a certain position that when their position starts to change, we think that they can't do this or they can't do that. We have to understand that people have strengths to change stuff. Mm-hmm. So I could go to tourism and change tourism, but after I'm done with tourism, I need to go somewhere else and fix that place up. So I believe that that the Deputy Prime Minister is not just tourism, that he has the ability to change stuff. So we have to break that culture of once you do this place and you done fix it, that's where you need to stay.
Some people wear those hats so well, though.
Yes,
like you can't help but see them in a certain way. And you're right, because many people become sort of like just boxed into to what it is, and you know, it's like, no, I can do something else.
Yeah, I can
become
change
something else. Yeah.
And Shanique, that's the real difference between a leader and a doer. A doer can operate in capacity, get results, get things done in a certain organization or area, but a leader can move and build platforms, build policies, and expand resources in different areas of governance.
Yeah. Gentlemen, what was most exciting about election season 2026 for each of you?
Well, let me tell you what was exciting for me. The smooth process to vote. Because I heard about that advance polls and how tough it was. I walked inside and I walked right out. But the excitement was for me was to see young people excited about our country. Because Shanique, to be honest with you, I really didn't. Back then, I wasn't really interested in politics. But to see young people excited to vote, young people posting, oh, I can't wait to vote. Shanique, I was excited. Because usually, young people don't find politics or government very fun. They find it boring. But to see the amount of young people and the young ladies and the young men that were interested about going out to vote was very exciting. I was very happy to see it.
Yes, Nick, I certainly concur. I think my favorite thing within this whole election timeline and this time frame was the interest of young people. Mm-hmm. It was really shocking to see them on social media and comments actually having issues and having statements and commentary on political issues and government issues. My second favorite thing was how many people reached out to me to understand how they can vote, what they can do to vote. Even on election day, noticeably there were a few issues at certain polls when it came to registration processes, and I was getting texts the entire election day on how can I extend my vote? Who can I speak to in PRD? And I'm really happy that young people are moving to the front line of their country.
Yes, gentlemen,
Yes.
I thank you both very much. I look forward to, of course, continuing to hear your voices, your opinions, your views. I know that you will be keenly tuned in as well and participating wherever you can in this new cycle and season of governance, the re-elected Davis administration. So I look forward to hearing your voices about a whole lot more as we continue to move forward. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you. Good night, Bahamas.
Of course, I thank at the top of tonight's show Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest, my Grand Bahama panel, Kurt and Leland, and of course my youth panel right here. Thank you guys once again. And a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in all week long. Man, we did so much, right? We had a whole, like this week was just a week. We had a whole election. There's a new elected government and a lot. So let's just stay tuned. Let's stay put, stay exactly where you are. Let's move this forward. And to you elected officials, here's something for you. Make sure you do the people's business that you were elected to do, because we are going to hold you accountable here on Beyond the Headlines. Meanwhile, though, have a wonderful weekend for the entire Beyond the Headlines team. I'm Shanique Miller. A blessed weekend to all. See you right back here on Monday evening.